Good morning, welcome back to my channel and to a day of pantry challenge cooking. We're starting out this morning with a really simple breakfast. Yesterday I found a gallon of milk that was already past its sell-by date, so we're going to use that up, and all of the cereal that I could find in the house. I also laid out some hamburger to thaw for our lunch. We're planning on making some cheeseburger rice. I feel like this part of the challenge is pretty easy. We still have a lot of fresh things as well as a lot of things that are just left over from our graduation party and things like that. So far it's not too much of a struggle, but pretty soon we won't have such easy breakfasts. There you can see that milk says sell by June 3rd. Today is the 8th. It was still fine, but we did end up using all of it today, so we won't have to worry about that later on. We're gonna have bacon cheeseburger rice for lunch, and I pulled out the bacon, or I have the bacon from last night, and we pulled out the hamburger. So now we need the cheese, and we'll get these out of the freezer. I probably won't need all of them, but I'm just gonna thaw them, and then I'll have them for the next thing. And we're gonna get the last ingredient that I think I need from outside the house out of the root cellar. I'm pretty sure that the recipe for the bacon cheeseburger rice is from Taste of Home, which means it's available online. So I will look that up and put it in the description box. My kids really like it. It's very kid-friendly. So coming down here for some dill relish. The only thing I changed about the recipe is that I use like regular rice. It calls for minute rice. Well, I don't know if I can do this with my hand. Anyway, I use the regular rice and cook it separately instead of cooking the minute rice in the seasonings and sauces that it calls for. But I will show you that at lunchtime. So here we have the rice, and it is basically cooked. I just cooked it with some tomato bouillon and some beef bouillon, and that gave it a good flavor. So it's almost ready for us to add the next ingredients. The hamburger there is getting done. It was still a little bit frozen, but we're just going to use part of this in the cheeseburger rice for lunch, and we will save the rest of it then for something else. And then we have the cheese that I pulled out. I ended up just using this 8-ounce block, and it was frozen, so it basically just crumbles apart. You can't really shred it. You just kind of get in there with your hands and just pull it apart, which is super easy, and it melted in just fine doing it that way. And then of course you can see there also we have the bacon that was left over from last night's dinner, and I just chopped it up, and some of that dill relish. And now the hamburger is all cooked up, and most of the fat has cooked off of it. So we're just going to go ahead and put some of it into the pot here, and it's a lot easier to do this with two hands, but we put in about 3 big of the spatula fulls into the rice, and then the rest of it we're going to save for something else. Tomorrow night my mother-in-law is coming to watch all of the kids except for my oldest daughter. We're taking her out to get her ears pierced and for just a late birthday dinner. Her birthday was last week, and so I'm thinking that that'll be good. I can just make something for their dinner with that. So then once the hamburgers and the rice, then we just stirred it together real quick. So this is the cheese going in there, and we're just going to stir it up and put the lid on it, let it sit until it's all melted, and then it'll be ready to serve. The kids always enjoy this meal. There's very rarely any leftovers, but it's good for a lunch for them. Here's the finished product. It looks very cheesy, and the kids really enjoyed it. You just top it with some of that relish and some bacon, and then some kids can leave it off if they would prefer to have it without. Okay, back to the garage. Don't mind my rec room. My rec room is a wreck. I'll get there one of these days. But back to the garage for stuff for with dinner. Okay. So, let's see if I can sit you somewhere. Hold on. Okay, that'll do for now. So for dinner, I'm going to make, most people have had those sliders that are like the Hawaiian rolls and ham and cheese, and it's like a butter and mustard thing that you drizzle over the top and then you bake them. So we're going to do that, except the recipe that I'm using is for hamburger buns, which I have left over from my son's graduation party. So we're going to use those, use some leftover like deli ham that I had pulled out and thought I would use last weekend, and I didn't. So we're going to do those for the main dish. And then I was going to do roasted potatoes and carrots like I did last night because everybody liked them. But my husband has been asking me to make pierogi casserole. And I don't know if it's just like something we make or if it's like a real thing. But it's like a lasagna that's layered with the noodles and mashed potatoes and cheese like you would have in a pierogi. A pierogi would be the noodles stuffed with mashed potatoes and cheese. So you do it as like a layered thing in a casserole dish or whatever. I have an open pack of lasagna noodles. I don't know if it's enough, but if not, I have another pack. And some instant mashed potatoes. So I'm going to make that because he's been asking for it. So I just have to find the potatoes and the noodles. I don't know if it's in this tote or if it's in the one underneath. Yeah, let's see. So, whoop. That looks like it's all like shaped pasta. I think it's the other one that I have labeled as spaghetti type pasta. Let's see if it's in there. Aha. There's the open box. I was smart and taped it shut. Writing on the calendar, I did something intelligent. Yeah, probably not. There's only a few in there. So we'll get out the other box, and then we'll have another partially used box of lasagna. But this stuff is so filling, I think I might just do it in like a bread pan. I don't think we need a ton. Even though there's 9 of us eating dinner, I still don't think we need a ton. Okay, so there's the noodles. Now I just got to get the potatoes. We are getting the potatoes used up. And I am glad about that. So, my potato box, it also has shake and bake in it. There's a packet of these, but it only makes 6 servings, 2/3 of a cup prepared. That's 4 cups. That'll go. Ooh, dropping my tote. Okay. Let's go. So these just call for butter, milk, and water. That'll do. I'll use some of that cheese that I pulled out this morning because I only used 8 ounces in the lunch for the kids. So we'll do that and grab. I have 1 head of romaine lettuce in the house. I think I'll just do like a Caesar salad with that. And I have 2 cans of green beans. I think somebody must have given these to us because we usually just can green beans, but we've got them. We'll use those for the people who want a hot vegetable salad, for people who want that, the sandwiches, and the pierogi casserole. So I'm going to go in and prep the casserole, so that it's ready to just go in the oven whenever Dan gets home from work, or whenever I know he's coming home, depending on what time it is. So that's the plan for dinner, and I will show you that when it's done. So here's dinner. Salad with all the fresh veggies out of the fridge. Deviled eggs with leftover hard-boiled eggs from the other day. Green beans are still in the microwave. Add some butter and salt when they come out. Here's the pierogi casserole. Turned out good. And the hot ham and cheese sandwiches. They smell so good. And that's dinner for this evening, and the end of another day of Pantry Challenge cooking.